So hello guys and welcome back to Zeus 7. In this video I'll be showing you the gameplay of Gotham Knights on 1650 Ti with i5 10 Gen CPU and 16 GB of RAM. So without any further ado, let's begin. Okay, so this is the CK version. As you can see, welcome Goldberg, and this is the Lenovo Legion version. So we can expect better performance. This was updated a few days after the day of the release, but many of the YouTubers are saying that there is no difference between the Lenovo version and Lenovo Legion version. So now let's go to the settings. So as you can see, 1650 Ti 1080 resolution, VSync is turned off, and these are the settings. I have set maximum FPS to 360 because there is no such option as turning off the limit, and field of view is 70, it was by default. And these are some settings which will not actually affect the performance, but it will help me to get a clear footage out of the gameplay. And these games come with 4 different graphic preset: low, medium, high and highest, which is, let's say, ultra. So we'll start from low and we'll go all the way up to ultra. So now let's start our game. So here is the game at low graphic preset. As you can see, we are achieving almost 45 fps as an average. But there is one thing I would like to say about this game. Let's say this is the new Cyberpunk. Not as bad as the Cyberpunk, but still quite bad, because I have played the prologue, and I have noticed that this game have like a few feeling like that we are stuttering, but actually we are not stuttering. It is the clumsiness of the game. As you can see, while driving, our FPS has lowered, and we are hovering around 45 fps. And many of the people who have played this game are judging this speed streak, like we are not actually that fast and still we are seeing this. And the bike is, I have throttled it at a full accelerator, but still we are not like have a feeling of we are getting driving that much fast enough. So as soon as we enter some area like surrounded by police or anything, our FPS drop to above 30 FPS. Like you can see here, 35, 36. We are hovering around, and there are some stutter you will see. It is not fault of our hardware. Like it's not because our hardware is weak. Like 1650 can quite handle this game, but this game is not quite optimized and well polished, I would say. Have a look at the RAM section. We are already utilizing like 9.5 GB to 10 GB. So yeah, we need to have at least 16 GB of RAM, and we are utilizing for everything out of this laptop. Like the TDP of this like the TDP of this CPU is 45, but still you can see we are hovering between 45 to 50. Like 100% of our TDP is utilized, and GPU is also utilized 100%. So while driving, we will get such much FPS. I don't want to get inside, because let's roam around, because so that I can have the same footage at different settings, so you can have a better judgment. So while roaming around, the FPS are quite smooth. As you can see, we will hover above 40 FPS, above 50 FPS most of the time, apart from some heavy intensive crowd surrounded area, and even while swinging around, the FPS are quite smooth. Sometimes during actions we will face some stuttering issue, but it's not the stuttering, it's just I say that clumsiness. The gameplay is not quite smooth while fighting or some heavy intensive task is going on in the background. So now that's enough for the low graphic preset. Now change it to a notch higher, which is medium. So let's apply it. And one thing is good in this game is like we don't have to restart the game now and then when we change the graphics setting. So here you can see not much of a big difference in FPS, but the quality is somewhat better. I would say the texture is a little bit more detailed. So even if you jump from quite high, you will have nothing like health deficit. Now let's ride around. And this is the animation I don't like whenever you call, it will just appear in front of you. So actually at medium graphic preset the FPS are not that much bad. Like even while driving we are achieving constant like about 45 FPS. So gate is closed, so I need to I can call this vehicle anywhere, anytime. So here we are facing a drop because we are surrounded by police. But while fighting enemies we are not dipping that much, but just a few stutters. The VRAM utilization section, you can see we are utilizing around 3.6 GB. So still we are in the range of 4 GB RAM, 4 GB VRAM. You can actually play this game and enjoy it about 30 FPS. It is a story driven game. Soon I will be making a video on Batman Arkham Knights, which was released 7 years ago. Just because everyone are making, I thought I should also make, so that you can also have a better idea and I can also have some views. And already the reason I would like to make this video because of the Batman Arkham Knight, because I have not yet uploaded any video on this channel by playing that game. So now let's change the setting, which is the high preset, and see how much FPS we will receive. Okay. Now we can see a difference in the character mode. Like it is the level of detail has increased quite a lot. The textures are quite detailed compared to low and medium. And while standing around, we are still having a quite good FPS, which is around 45. Although there is a dip from around 55 to 45, but still these are quite playable FPS on these types of games. and while driving around the FPS are not dipping that much below, and we can easily play this game with this graphic card and with this configuration of CPU and RAM. Of course the RAM you need will be above 8 GB. 8 GB of RAM is not quite sufficient to play these types of game, and nowadays every games which are releasing need at least 16 GB of RAM. If you want to, if your graphic card and GPU and CPU is capable of playing it at high graphic preset, you need at least 16 GB of RAM, otherwise it will stutter like hell, like we have observed in Watch Dogs Legion. Like the laptop was capable, but with 8 GB of RAM it was stuttering a lot. In 16 GB the FPS we were receiving were quite smooth. And even while roaming around, our FPS are above 40 FPS, I would say. So while driving bike, the RAM utilization is more compared to while roaming around, and our CPU is utilized also quite good enough, like 50% most of the time. If you are having this laptop, I would guarantee you, even with this configuration we can still pull for more than 2 years in gaming, because looking at the games releasing now, we can definitely pull this with this graphic card. Even we have to play at a low or medium graphic settings and the graphic quality were still good. So 1650 Ti can still pull any game at low and medium with good FPS. But nowadays it is like most of the games are releasing, they require at least 8 GB of VRAM if you want to play any game at high and ultra graphic setting. Now the game is now having the numbers of VRAM. I don't know why. At first the games were released like if you were lacking some VRAM, your RAM would be utilized and you will have a little bit better performance. But nowadays the VRAM is only utilized for the game. Even new game like Modern Warfare 2, which have released a few days ago, and it also require only 10 GB of RAM, but requires a hell lot of VRAM. As soon as the game get like a CRACK, you can understand, I will definitely make a video on it to test out this configuration. So that's enough for the high graphic preset. Let's change our graphic settings to the final, which is the highest, also known as the ultra. This is the final setting. So as we are increasing the graphic setting, the textures are getting better and better, and even though the configuration requirement to play this game at ultra was quite higher, like 3070 or 2070, something like that, but you can still pull off with this graphic card 1650 Ti, which have the 4 GB of VRAM at almost half the VRAM which is required, provided by the game developers in the requirement settings. As you can see, while roaming around we are still having some playable FPS like above 40-45 most of the time. Now let's see the gameplay while driving around. So here you can see we are still getting around 40-45 FPS while driving around, and sometimes it will dip to 30 FPS when surrounded by police or some crowd intensive area. So if you find the video good, join the channel by subscribing it and give the video a like, and also turn on the bell notification to get notified for further updates.